Alright, so welcome to part two. We're going to get into the next few pages of the flow sizing software here, and then we're going to also touch on our special configuration setting. So we're going to run through another quick sizing, this time with gas and air. Again, if you don't find your gas here, you can always choose custom fluid, and you'll need your reference density, operating viscosity, and density. But we'll stick with air. Again, when you change your units for pressure and temperature, it is not going to convert the actual pressure or temperature. And so here, this time we get you'll see a red box and usually a prompt, well, always a prompt actually, of why that's bad and what needs to change. So in this case, our density is outside the permissible range for the unit, so it's asking you to change one of these two up here. So this time we're actually going to choose volumetric flow, and we're going to choose, so here I want to read, let's say 50,000 standard cubic feet per hour. But you'll see here we don't have that unit. These units are reference condition units, which is what we selected here, so 20C and 1 bar absolute. But I want standard units, which is 60F and atmospheric pressure. So you have to select that unit here, and you'll see this change to SLH. So we got standard units now. Same deal for if I had normal units, or if you just want operating conditions. So we're going to click that. So again, we've got the option to filter out right away, so we can limit our sensors to, let's say, a process connection size or type, or we can just calculate all possible sensors. So again, we get several options. We're going to choose this one to show you one thing. So we chose volumetric flow earlier, standard cubic feet. Here it's going to show you volumetric flow and mass flow in this case. Same with the diagram. In this case, it's going to be exactly the same because the rotomass does not measure density of gases. So this mass flow and volume flow is going to be the same accuracy. But if we're measuring a liquid and or an increased density option, then you would see a slight difference here for volumetric flow accuracy. So next we're going to get into building a model code. So we're going to go to Start Configuration, and you're going to be, so orange boxes, we've moved on to the next page. Orange boxes are required selections, and then right now it's starting to build your model code and do some thinking about the available options with that selection. So I've got to select something here, and it's still, right now it's verifying that works and what else it limits. So I want a 1/2 inch 300 pound. So on this page as well, we have our prompts and question marks. It's basically summarizing what this tab is doing, and then any potential questions or something you should be aware of here. And then so there are also question marks located right next to the selections, next to the grayed out options. So these options are not available based on either the fluid type or something that you selected previously. So if you click this box, it gives you a short summary of options, and then also what's stopping you from selecting that option. So let's say I have to have ring type joint flanges. It's saying this option is blocking it. So if you want to apply, if you need this option, you simply click that, and then it's going to change your process connection above, but it's going to give you an option of what you can select based on that. And then so the rest of these drop downs, these are just options. And it's going to make sure that these options are available, and this is a valid model code, but everything else is optional that's not highlighted in orange. And below you can see it's starting to build our model code here, and at any point you can copy this to your clipboard and paste later on. You also notice at the bottom there is a special design togachu. We would advise, if you're familiar with our product, you may know what this togachu is. If you have any questions on that, it's better that you contact us at support@us.yokogawa.com or call into our call center. This basically is special design outside of our normal specs. So if you click this, this is saying that it's not going to be checking your model code anymore. So you're just building a model code that you want, but that may not be possible. So we would advise against that unless you are familiar with the togachu in question. So now we're going to go to the next page, which is our converter. So at any point in time, if you find a mistake on this page or any of the other pages, you can reset, and you can also go back to a previous tab. And also you see your process data is always here to the right. So if you see a mistake here, you can go back to sensor selection here. So right now we're building our converter model code. And now we're going to jump into our special configuration settings, the /PS option. So we selected that, and we will move to setting up the cable. And again, if you have any questions about some of the options that you see on in the sizing, feel free to contact us at our support email. This is a global configurator, so some of the options that we use may or may not be seen in this, that we use locally, in North America. So next we're going to get into the device special configuration. So the Coriolis meter is one of the few flow meters that will pretty much function accurately out of the box, but it will have default outputs and settings. But if you need those settings, the outputs or displays or inputs set up at the factory, we are more than willing to do that, but you'll need that /PS option. So if you don't choose that /PS option, this device setup won't even be a tab that you can get to in the sizing. Another thing, since we chose volumetric flow, you have to set up your reference density, some kind of reference density to use that volumetric flow output. So if I change this back to no assignment, and try to set my analog output as volumetric flow, you're not going to get that option. But as soon as I change it to standard, and some kind of density value, it's going to then give me that option for volumetric flow. So back to the top. So this is also where you can set up your pressure compensation in the line if needed. And then we've got our hard tag information, and then just our outputs. So you can set your high and low limits, as well as what the alarm is going to do at that limit. So if, for instance, we put something that's not possible, it's going to get a red box and then a value that should be used. Same for your pulses. You can set up your pulse unit and your rates, as well as your alarm. Same for status inputs. And then you can also set up your display here. And then lastly, you're going to set up your actual ranges here, as well as your damping time and your low cut. So this is the /PS special configuration. At this point, with this /PS option, we need the XML file at the factory to set this up. So you're going to export the converter setup. So this folder setting can be changed in the settings, or you can just save it to your desktop. And it says the export was successful. And the XML looks a little something like this. So this is just the output and display settings we just changed or didn't change. And this is, again, this is what we would require at the factory for this PS option to set up the meter to ship correctly. And then here you'll see we built our sensor, our converter, and our cable model codes. And again, you can copy those to your clipboard to paste for later. So then we can also, so we're going to complete the sizing now. And then we're basically going to get a summary of what we just did. So we've got our process data and then our basic data again. And then here we can add, this is basically more fields to add to your final data sheet. So you can put your name, tag number, customer info. So at this point we do not have a saving function or database function, but that will come soon, and it will be located in this area. But this right here for now is just more fields on your final data sheet. So the final data sheet looks very similar to the first, except we have full model codes now, and we would have more information. We would have this stuff here when you enter it, but it's going to have your basic data, your table, your graph, and then in this case with the PS option it's going to show those parameters that we changed or set up. And again, we can print or save as a PDF. And that's going to be it. So last thing, if you find a glitch or have some feedback for us, like what we're doing, or would like to see some changes, we have a send feedback button. So this goes straight to our counterparts in Germany. So feel free to use this button. This basically just opens your default email browser and goes straight to them. So feel free to use this. And that's it. Thanks for watching.